Section 1. A Ghost on the Radar. Welcome to Wiseleet. This is the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. It is a story of a modern aircraft that became a ghost, a flight that took off into the night and simply vanished from our world of constant connection. The story is a profound and unsettling mystery. It continues to echo more than a decade later. People around the globe still ask the same haunting question. What really happened to the 239 souls on board? For the families who lost their loved ones, this question is a desperate, unending search for answers, a peace that remains just out of reach. On the night of March 8, 2014, a state-of-the-art Boeing 777-200ER prepared for its routine journey. Designated as Flight MH370, it was scheduled for a red-eye flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, China. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members, a diverse group from more than a dozen nations. The pre-flight checks were normal, weather was clear, and the experienced flight crew communicated with air traffic control without any hint of distress. The plane ascended into the dark sky. Then, less than an hour into its flight, it disappeared from secondary surveillance radar screens. The world watched and waited for a sign, a message, a piece of wreckage, but only a deep and unnerving silence followed. The initial moments unfolded with perfect, predictable normalcy, making what came next all the more baffling. The aircraft took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:41 a.m. local time. The pilots communicated with Malaysian air traffic controllers as the plane climbed to cruising altitude. The final voice communication came at 1:19 a.m., a calm, routine sign-off as the plane was about to enter Vietnamese airspace. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Minutes later, the aircraft's transponder, the device that transmits identity and altitude, was switched off or ceased to function. The plane became a ghost on the radar, its digital marker blinking out over the South China Sea. This disappearance marked the beginning of a complex, frustrating puzzle. Civilian radar lost the plane, but military radar continued to track an unidentified aircraft for another hour. That track showed a sharp, deliberate turn to the west, deviating completely from the planned northeasterly route to Beijing. It flew back across the Malay Peninsula. It then turned again, heading northwest over the Strait of Malacca toward the Andaman Sea. After that point, it flew beyond the range of even military radar, vanishing into a vast expanse of ocean. The mystery of MH370 was no longer just a missing plane. It was a plane that seemed to be flying under someone's control, far from where it was supposed to be. The final communications from MH370 offer a chilling glimpse into the last known moments of normalcy before the flight deviated into the unknown. The interactions between the pilots and air traffic controllers were entirely routine, following standard aviation protocols without any sign of alarm or unusual activity. The final verbal message, "Good night, Malaysian 370, was delivered in a calm tone. Aviation experts have analyzed this transmission endlessly. The sign-off was completely standard procedure when handing off from one air traffic control sector to another. There was nothing in the voice, no stress, no indication of any trouble. It was as normal as 1,000 other flights that night." 2 minutes after that final voice transmission, 1:21 a.m., the aircraft's transponder stopped transmitting. The transponder is crucial for air traffic control. It provides identification, altitude, speed. Its sudden silence was the first concrete sign something was gravely wrong. An aviation systems engineer explained, "Losing a transponder signal can happen due to a catastrophic electrical failure, but it's rare. The system has backups. For it to just switch off could imply deliberate action." Was this a massive, cascading failure or a conscious human intervention? This was the first major fork for investigators. Simultaneously, ACARS, the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, also ceased to function. ACARS automatically sends short messages about the aircraft's health back to the airline. The last ACARS transmission was at 1:07 a.m., another was scheduled for 1:37 a.m., but it never arrived. The timing of these shutdowns is a key focus. Both systems went dark just as the plane neared the handover point between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. It was a brief window where the aircraft could slip between oversight. The sequence, calm final sign-off, then the near-simultaneous shutdown of two tracking systems, forms the core of the MH370 enigma. It defies easy explanation. A catastrophic event like an explosion or a sudden structural failure would likely have left a field of debris and stopped the aircraft from flying on. Conversely, a deliberate act to make the plane invisible would require specific system knowledge. This time, digital disappearance turned MH370 from a routine flight into a phantom, setting the stage for one of aviation's most baffling mysteries. After vanishing from civilian and military radar, MH370 did not simply fall out of the sky. A different, more subtle form of data revealed the aircraft continued to fly for many hours, from a satellite communication system on board, operated by Inmarsat. Designed for satellite phone calls and data links, the ground station still sent hourly status requests, pings, even with services inactive. MH370 responded for nearly 7 hours after its last radar position, a revelation that transformed the search. These pings, burst timing offset and burst frequency offset, had no GPS position, but engineers performed a groundbreaking analysis. Like timing a distant echo, the round-trip delay gave distance to the satellite, drawing vast arcs on the world map. The final ping at 8:19 a.m. placed the plane on one of two arcs, north across Central Asia or south into the Indian Ocean. The northern route crossed many radar networks. None reported an unidentified 777, making it highly improbable. BFO Doppler analysis suggested a southern track, not definitive, but strongly indicative. The resulting search area was immense, in one of the most remote oceans on Earth. Extreme weather, powerful currents, and ocean depths beyond 4,000 meters complicated everything. Even brilliant forensics could only narrow it to a corridor, a needle in an unknown haystack. The search for MH370 quickly became the largest and most expensive in aviation history. Initial efforts focused on the South China Sea and the Strait of Malacca based on last radar contacts. Dozens of ships and aircraft scoured the waters, hoping to find a debris field. But as days turned into weeks, nothing emerged. Then the Inmarsat analysis shifted the hunt to the remote southern Indian Ocean. Thousands of kilometers off Western Australia, at the edge of aircraft endurance, the task grew daunting. Search directors spoke of swells to 15 meters, fierce winds, and cold, deep water. Finding anything on the surface is incredibly hard, the seabed exponentially harder. The underwater search mobilized advanced technology. First, pinger locators hunted the flight recorder's ultrasonic beacons, batteries lasting about 30 days. A few faint signals raised hopes, but were later deemed unrelated. With beacon batteries presumed expired, teams deployed deep sonar. Autonomous underwater vehicles and deep-towed systems mapped the seabed in painstaking detail. Operators scrutinized anomalies for any hint of wreckage. Nearly 3 years, over 120,000 square kilometers scanned, yet the main wreckage was never found. In January 2017, Malaysia, Australia, and China suspended the search, citing no credible leads left within the area. Despite extraordinary international effort, the mystery remained, and families were left in painful limbo. Markets reacted immediately. Malaysia Airlines' stock plunged, down as much as 18% on the first trading day. Uncertainty and potential liabilities drove a sell-off. The airline, already struggling, took a severe reputational hit. Airline shares dipped across regions. Suppliers and manufacturers fluctuated. Insurers faced complex exposure, roughly $100 million for the hull and potentially hundreds of millions in liability claims. Malaysia's national brand suffered. Tourism fell, especially from China, and the airline was eventually nationalized. The crisis became a catalyst. New global standards for aircraft tracking and distress reporting. Over a year later, the first physical evidence surfaced, far from the search zone. In July 2015, a flaperon from a Boeing 777 washed ashore on Reunion Island. Serials confirmed it belonged to MH370. Heartbreaking, tangible proof. In the following years, more than 20 pieces were found across Mozambique, Tanzania, South Africa, Madagascar, and beyond. Engine cowling, interior panels, and a fragment of the outboard flap added crucial clues. Analysis suggested the flap was not deployed, not a controlled ditching. Damage patterns aligned with a high-speed, uncontrolled descent, likely after fuel exhaustion. Drift science confirmed the Southern Ocean but could not pinpoint the wreck within the 120,000 square kilometers. Many theories emerged, from technical failure to human action. A catastrophic failure, such as onboard fire, could incapacitate crew and disable comms. A westward turn might have been a diversion attempt to Langkawi before crew were overcome. Autopilot could fly on until fuel exhaustion. A ghost flight. Gradual depressurization can silently impair judgment. No distress call, hours of flight, then the end. Deliberate action by someone in the cockpit remains debated. Investigators found no definitive proof. Hijacking is possible but unlikely. No credible claims, no evident motive, and a remote ocean terminus. Each narrative fits some facts. None are proven without the recorders and wreckage. MH370 exposed a critical vulnerability in a safe system. Tracking gaps. ICAO's GADS mandates more frequent position reports and autonomous minute-by-minute distress tracking. Underwater beacons now require 90-day battery life. Deployable recorders are being advanced. Without drawing conclusions about this crew, the industry strengthened psychological support and security protocols. The legacy is progress, so no airliner can simply vanish again. Today, more than 12 years after its last message, the fate of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the modern age. The official underwater search has ended, and the trail has gone cold. What we have are facts, a series of brilliant deductions, and a vast empty space where the final answer should be. We know the plane diverted from its course. We know it flew for hours as a phantom, communicating only through faint electronic handshakes. We know pieces washed ashore, confirming a tragic end in the southern Indian Ocean. But we do not know why. That single crucial question hangs unanswered, suspended in time. For the families, it is an enduring grief, an ambiguous loss without a resting place or reason. They campaign for renewed searches and fresh analysis. Their persistence is a testament to love and to the human need for answers. We end with profound respect for them and for the lives that were lost. The mystery compels us to test the limits of our technology and understanding. The deep ocean humbled our most advanced tools. Even in a hyper-connected world, chains of events can end in total disappearance, mechanical, human, or both, leaving a silence as profound as it is terrifying. The search for truth may not be over. Private expeditions and better tools stand ready. New methods could yet tease more from those faint satellite handshakes. The puzzle endures, challenging scientists and investigators alike. It urges us to keep looking, to keep questioning, and to remember the 239 souls who began a journey on March 8, 2014, and have yet to arrive. If you want more stories of unsolved mysteries and deep dives into the events that shape our world, stay curious. Subscribe for more from Wiseleet. Thank you for listening.